Hello E32 fans, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm pretty sure there are E34 fans that are watching as well because the chassis is so similar. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well, and as you can see, a bit of a different introduction because usually I'm not used to speaking directly in the camera. It was a conscious decision when I made this channel to really focus on the car because I'm really not looking for attention, and I want to skip all the boring stuff and just get to the subject. But for this time it might be interesting just to talk directly in the camera. Yeah, so I've been working on polishing the car lately. I only did the trunk and the hood. But I'll show you in some B-roll footage that the result is really nice. 30-year-old paint, it really needed to be polished, and it's quite nice. But now I'm taking a break from that, and as you can see from the title of the video, I'm tackling the vibrations on my car, because this is probably my #1 annoyance with my 735iL. It's that whenever I'm holding the brakes at a, let's say like a red light or a stop sign, like a long stop, I can really feel the engine vibrating through the seat, through the floor, and the chassis in general. Not the steering wheel, not so much, but just the car in general. And that's really not refined. I have a minivan that's much more refined than that. So yeah, I get it. It's a 1992, but still, it should be a refined car. And I also try to place a little bits of foam and like a 3M VHB tape to minimize vibrations in the engine bay and the interior, but nothing did it. It didn't solve it. So it's really the interface between the engine and the chassis that's the issue. I even had my wife hold the brake pedal while I listened to the engine bay and the interior with a mechanic's stethoscope, but I could not find a rattle or a source that would be really obvious. So, I really think it's engine related, and at first I thought that it might be the eccentrics of the valves, because I did a few valve adjustments on the car with the different specifications depending on what I found online, and maybe the eccentrics are worn, so that could be it. Then I found something online while doing some research, and that's what I want to show you. So one night I was browsing the 7forum.com website, which is a German-speaking forum for everything related to the 7 Series, and I found this post, which is quite interesting, and it's dated from 2006, quite an old post, written by a fellow named Carl32, and he writes that he fixed vibrations in drive with the foot on the brake using engine mounts from a E34 diesel car. So I found that really interesting. So I guess the composition of the engine mount is different, right? Because the vibration pattern is maybe more pronounced on a diesel car. I don't know. But anyway, he reported that he had quite a lot of success by using these engine mounts. So I thought that was interesting. So what I did is I ordered some of these engine mounts. I got them from England. And so there it is. So this is a CORTECO engine mount, so the same manufacturer as the original BMW mounts. And this is a Rhine mount that I tried for my car. Anyway, so it's pretty much identical in size and in height and everything. So it should fit right in. And one thing that Carl32 writes on the 7 forum website is that this locating pin here is different. So you can see that this one is larger on the diesel version. So yeah, I guess I need to trim a bit of that to get the clearance needed. What's funny is that the E32 and E34 use the same front crossmember or subframe. So I don't know why this one is larger than this pin here, but anyway, so I'll do a bit of filing here to remove the excess metal, and then I'll jack up the engine and try installing these, and I'll let you know the result. So I ran into a bit of an issue. When I placed my jack under the oil pan to raise the engine, only the right side would lift off the subframe and the engine mount. So the left side was stuck. So what I did is I put the nut back on the engine mount over here, and then I used a larger pry bar like this and a block of wood. So I placed the block of wood here so that I would not damage this support, and I basically pried, like pushing like this, so that the threads would become unstuck from the support arm. Now it's free, and when I lift the engine by the oil pan, then this side lifts correctly and it's no longer stuck to the engine mount. So that's great. Well, I had to do the job twice. And why is that? Well, I didn't appreciate how flat this surface has to be. And I had just a bit of elevation here around the locating tab, and it made the mount slightly angled on the subframe. So if you do this job, you really need to make sure the entire surface here is perfectly flat, and that it has no deviation in the angles and things like that. So yeah, lesson learned.
That's very smooth. I can barely feel any vibration.
Well, I went on a test drive, and I thought of recording it, but vibrations are more of a feel thing rather than something that you hear. So I don't think it would be really useful to show it in video, but let me tell you that the feel of the car is really improved. And like the guys were saying on the German forum, this fixes about 80% of the vibrations on the M30 engine, at least in my car. It's the same thing that they were saying, you know, it really smooths out the engine. I can still feel a bit of engine rumbling here and there, but it's really, really subtle. And it's quite amazing, because before I used to, let's say like I was done driving, turning off the car, and I would feel the engine rocking, you know, like left and right until it settled and then it turned off. But now when I turn off the engine, it's as if like there's no difference between it running and not running. I don't get why diesel mounts would have this kind of effect, but it really does. So if you're dealing with vibrations and you went through, you know, the usual suspects, you know, like the transmission mounts, the engine mounts, and you went with the original BMW design, and you also changed like the drive shaft center support bearing and all this kind of stuff, and you still have heavy vibrations, I would say go with these CORTECO mounts, or you might be able to find other brands. I think Febi, Bilstein make them also, and there might be others, but this is CORTECO 601553. So really recommend these, and yeah, it's quite a transformation. Now I can say that it's a luxury car. You know, no longer I feel the vibration and shaking, and my handbrake was shaking also. So it was really unrefined, but now it's smooth, it's quiet, and it's really nice. In terms of drivability, these new mounts don't really affect anything that I noticed in the drivetrain. Whether I go fast or slow, or brake or accelerate hard, it's just as stable as before. So I chose to not show this job entirely, because this procedure is pretty well known online. If you do a bit of searching, it's not that difficult. You remove two nuts, 17 millimeter at the top and the bottom of the engine mounts, and then you put a floor jack under the oil pan. You raise the engine, and you know, usually it goes pretty smooth. What helps, yeah, I just want to say, if you want to be sure that you don't break anything in the engine bay, you can remove the fan clutch and the fan shroud at the front of the radiator. You also can remove the cables for the throttle and the what's it called? The cruise control, if you don't have an EML car with an electronic throttle. And then you can remove the bracket that holds these cables from the intake manifold, so you don't get any breakage there. And you can also remove the duct that goes to the alternator, just to remove all the tension. Then you are free to raise the engine. Yeah, pretty good job. Not that difficult, but a really, really nice result. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my rambling. I hope this video was useful to you if you are dealing with vibrations. And as usual, keep watching. Subscribe if you like this content. And also I have some super chats or thanks, whatever YouTube calls it, monetization thing, if you want to support this channel. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.